Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. This is another part of the the IS300 Lexus with the sticky dash setup, and this is, of course, part of the console area. It's also sticky. So I'm going to try something a little different on this one. On the other video I used Goof Off to clean another part of the console, and it worked. I used Goof Off and I used the green scrubby. I'm going to use a little bit finer scrubbies. This one is like 3M, says it's like a maroon color, says very fine. This is a gray color, says ultra fine. And I'm going to use Pro Thinner just to see what will happen. You can use different solvents. I've come to the conclusion to get the sticky stuff off. So let's try this. I would suggest put a glove on because the sticky stuff is really black when it comes off. So again, I'm cutting the pad into little rectangles because it's going to get all gunky. It'll get loaded up with this material as it dissolves, and then I just want to throw it away. So instead of using a big piece of material, I cut it up into little pieces, easier to handle, get into little corners and such. This seems to be working about the same as the Goof Off did. I just keep rotating this little piece that I cut. You don't have to rub hard. Remember, I told you that in the other video. And once you seem to have most of it off, the scrubby pad will rub easier. Then you want to take either a paper towel, or if you want to sacrifice one of those microfiber towels, because you'll never get it clean again, but you can do that. And it's a slow process. Don't rub hard. Take your time. Okay, let me get you caught up. I decided to take these indicator buttons, they're illuminated indicator buttons, take them out because it looked like the solvent and the scrubby pad was dulling up the surface. I'll polish these up with some plastic polish before I put it back in. Anyway, I just used a little heat gun, a little soldering gun, and on the back side it's just held in by some little melted plastic tips. So I just melted those and took it out. When I put it back in, I'll just run like a little bead of silicone or something in there to get it back in there. Okay? Now I can just scrub away on this whole thing. I put some tape around the bottom so there's a little foam seal that I didn't want to get any gunk on it, so I just taped around there. I can just scrub this down. I switched back to Goof Off. I wasn't quite sure if this solvent, well, let me talk about this a little bit. In the state of California, the environmental people have done away with most of the solvents that work pretty well. So industry has had to come up with alternatives. This is an alternative. It's called Pro Thinner. Just all it says is strong cleaner, replaces MEK and toluene. Now MEK and toluene were two solvents that worked really well, but they're gone because of the environmental people. What is in this? It's probably not even going to say. I don't know. Comparable evaporation rate to toluene and MEK. Maximum solvency for thinning alkyd paints, enamels, varnishes, epoxies, and polyurethane. Contains, alright, here we go, it does tell me, it contains acetone, methyl acetate, and chlorobenzo, wow, chlorobenzo trifluorides. So there you go. You want to know what's in it? That's what's in it. Let's see if Goof Off tells you what's in it. I'll take this off camera for a second. Yeah, I could not actually find anywhere on the label that Goof Off tells you what's in it. So I guess you could call them. You probably get a hold of somebody who won't know what you're talking about. But anyway, I'm switching back to Goof Off and microfiber towels. And we're getting pretty close to all of that gunk off. A little bit of whitish residue there. I don't know what that is, but it rubs off. Underneath, I don't know if it's black plastic or that's a paint on the plastic, because when you flip it over, it's got a white strip down the middle there. So I don't know. That first solvent certainly dissolves these nitrile gloves. So the Goof Off says people with sensitive skin should wear gloves. So obviously it's weaker than the Pro Thinner. So I'm gonna just, I think I'm gonna finish this off with just the microfiber towels and the Goof Off. Here's what I ended up doing. It seemed like it was turning into a never-ending process using the solvents to get the very last little bit of the, sorry, did I get out of frame? To get the last bit of the sticky stuff off. So I let the solvent all dry, and I'm just using like dry sandpaper like this. This is kind of a medium, I call it a medium to fine sandpaper. It's the same thing as sandpaper, basically. I did end up, because I cut this microfiber cloth, I ended up with a lot of little pieces of microfiber that kind of get stuck on there. So that was probably a mistake. I would not cut up the microfiber towel, because you just end up with too many little flakes. But I'm just going to finish this up with sanding, and then I'm going to try putting Forever Black. Now, on my previous video, I used a formulation of Forever Black. It was bumper and trim, but it was the old formulation. It was more runny than this new formulation. Has got a little more of a gel to it. So I'm going to try that. I got this complimentary. I talked to a guy who invented it, and it's called Forever Black. I told you I liked it a lot when I used the other stuff that was like 5 years old. So I'm going to try this now, and we'll see how that comes out on this piece. Okay, I'm going to call it good. You know, this is not a Ferrari, so I've got a few little specks on there, but I want to get this done today. I am going to use this cleaner concentrate that came with the product, and then I'm going to use the new formulation of Forever Black bumper trim, and we'll see how it comes out. You know, actually I'm going to pass on this. The whole point of this is to make sure that the surface is clear and clean of oil and silicone. I read the instructions on here, and there's no way there's any oil or silicone on this after I've been scrubbing away on it the way I have. So and also you're supposed to mix this whole thing up with some water, and I'm just going to take a little shortcut. Here's the old one that I used. It comes with a foam applicator on the top, and you can look at my other video. I did a section of the console on this Lexus IS300, and this is like 5 or 6 years old. You're talking a lot of shelf life. It just went on nice, and watch the other video. I made myself a little paint tray here, and I'm going to just hold it in one hand. There's a place on the back. It's good to grab it. And this is supposed to be a new formulation that doesn't run as much. Well, We'll see. It's alright. If it runs a little bit, it's alright. So I'm taking it. Oh yeah. This is definitely not as liquidy as the original one. So, well, let's start at the top. Let's see how good a painter I am. I can already see one little speck shows through. Like I said, it's not a Ferrari. Maybe someday Froggy will have a Ferrari. What do you think, guys and gals? Should I get one and do some videos on a Ferrari? Post up your comments. Well, I like this little foam applicator because it's got a little sharp edge that I can use to get in these little decorative spots on the console. I'm going to go inside here a little bit. I might flip it over to go inside where the shift stick moves through here. You know what I mean? I might do that because I don't know if I can. I'm going to tip it a little bit actually and see if I can get in there, because that'll show up once it's in the car. Actually, with this brush, I am getting in there pretty good. Well, yeah, pretty good. But I'll let this dry first. Oh, it seems like it's drying already at the top. I better get going here. I don't want any, like an overlap mark. So Merrick, if you're watching this, I don't know, you might want to market the product for interior restoration also, because that's what I'm doing. Okay, I gotta move this around, not so much for the camera, but for me to look at it. Well, I didn't have to worry about runs at all, did I? And I'm going to do a second coat for sure. I'm going to take it off camera and look and see what it says about doing a second coat. Okay? Yeah. I might even do like a little bit sanding in between coats. Okay, I let it dry for about 10 minutes or so. There's a couple of little wet spots that are in those grooves. Let's see if I can zoom in on it for you. You can see some brush marks, and that may be my technique more than anything else. I never had any problem with brush marks with the old product that I use, but that might be because the foam on that applicator, the old applicator, stayed very saturated, and here the foam is not totally saturated because it's more like painting with a paintbrush, a foam paintbrush. I'm going to give it another coat, and I am going to try to have the brush a little more saturated, just kind of like flowing it on instead of brushing it on, you know what I mean? Okay, I went off camera just because I wanted to focus on what I was doing. I tried loading up the brush with a little more paint and put on a pretty thick second coat. So I'm just let it dry now and I'll show you how it comes out. I had a couple of little runs because I was putting it on so heavy around here, so I just took the foam brush and touched around there, and you know, I picked up the run and just moved it around a little bit, and it was fine. There, it's wet. Okay, here's where we're at, guys and gals. We got 2 coats of Forever Black put on with a foam brush. Let's see if I can give you a shot there. What I've decided is it's not quite what I want for interior is like a semi-gloss, like a satin, and this is a little too flat, and it's got the brush marks. So what I'm going to do, I'm not totally unhappy with this because I think it's going to make a very, very tough surface for a part in the car console where you might throw your keys, you might throw your sunglasses, you might throw something on there. So I think this is going to be a good protection, but I'm going to finish it off with this color coat. It's a satin. It's called a company called SEM. I think I got it from Eastwood, which online, which Eastwood sells a lot of automotive repair, refinishing things, not parts, but for painting and things like that. So I'm going to sand this a little bit to get some of the brush marks out, and then I'm going to shoot a coat or 2 of that SEM. Okay, I'm not going to show you me sanding it. I'm probably not going to show you me spraying this, but it's just, you know, 8 inches away. You know how to spray, right? Don't just hold it there. It's going to drip. Psh, 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 like that. Okay? Okay. I'll show you a little bit. Let me just make sure I've got that in frame. Yeah. I'm using this medium 3M sanding pad, and I'm going to go crossways to where the marks are, the drag marks, or whatever you call them, those texture marks. I'm just going crossways. Right? I think it's going to come out pretty good. Okay, so I switched to a circular motion. It's like if you had a machine sander, but do not use a machine sander on this. You'll just bust right through the coating and you'll be down to the plastic again. I want to leave this coating on here. I really think it's going to be a very good, tough coating. So I'm just going like this. Alright, I can already tell I've got all the brush marks out of there. It's starting to feel nice. Use your hand. Yeah, it'll get a little dirty, but use your hand. Don't use your eye and use your hand to tell when all the brush marks are gone. Okay, I think I'm there. Let me give you a little angle shot. That's nice and smooth. No brush marks. Actually, it has kind of a satin finish right now. That is what I'm trying to get to, but that can top, if you can see that, is going to be about the same. So I'm going to go shoot it, and then I'll show you how it comes out. Okay, this is Froggy's paint booth, my front yard on the grass. I know you're going to laugh, but it works pretty good, because any overspray just goes on the grass, and then my guys come and cut it, and there's nothing left to clean up. And the only thing that I have to watch out for is the wind, because the wind will blow the spray paint around, but it's pretty calm. It's not a really good drying day. It's actually a gray day. I'll show you. It's kind of a gray day, but the wind is very, very light. So I laid on about 4 coats. And when you're putting coats of spray paint on, you have to kind of build it up until you get to a thickness where when it dries out it's going to level out. If you just put one coat, it might be like a little, it'll dry little tiny little bumps, but I think I got this pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to let it, actually I'm going to pick it up and bring it inside because it's a little damp out here and it'll dry better inside. Anyway, I thought I'd just show you that. Pretty funny, huh? My paint booth. When I'm done painting, I like to take a rag and clean the tip of the spray can with some thinner. They say you can just turn it upside down and shoot air through it, but I really like to clean it up so the next time I go to use it, it'll have a nice spray pattern. Anyway, just did that, and I am telling you that is going to be nice. Actually, I'm going to point it this way towards my light source, and I'll pick up the camera and bring it around. Hold on. Let me just, I've got a little tripod, so let me take it out. Check that out. I'm happy. I hope you like that. It's not quite dry yet. There's a couple of little specks from, you remember when I cut up that yellow rag? That yellow rag there. And I shouldn't have done that because I ended up leaving little pieces of lint on there, but I got most of them out. That's going to look nice back in the car. Okay, so I'm going to wind this up and I'll tell you in a nutshell. Whoops. Yeah, that's all right. What I did for final coat was that SEM color coat. It's good for plastic and vinyl. It's actually special for plastic and vinyl. Flexible and rigid plastics. It says carpet and velour. Huh. Oh well. And I used Forever Black bumper and trim. And I do like this for the first couple of coats, and I would not use it for finish coat, but the end result is you've got the toughness here and you've got a nice finished semi-gloss sheen coat there. So give me a thumbs up or a like if this helps you out. Subscribe to my channel if you want more from Froggy. Gee, I could put that up a little better there. And I'll see you later. You guys and gals have a great week. It's Monday here and I've got more projects to get to. See ya. Bye.